Thank you, and good morning. That's the music of Duke Ellington. You know, he wrote so many sacred works, and we just wanted to honor him this morning in doing that. So we have one more selection instrumental by the band, and this one is from the Horace Silver Library. It's called Barbara. Why not? Why not? Please welcome our music team. Fuji and Emra is here, and I'm here, and you're here. And on our vocals this morning is Greg Pavlak and Sauda Fuller. It's a full day. Will you please stand as we sing together our opening song entitled Grateful. And good morning.
Good morning, you may be seated. It is dark and gloomy outside, but it's warm and happy in here. Don't they sound just awesome? You guys are just so awesome. Wow. We are so very blessed. My name is David Ault. Yes, and I serve as the senior minister here, and what a joy and a privilege. Usually I'm accompanied by another David, who is back in Ohio with his dad for an indefinite amount of time with some health challenges. And so I just want you to turn to the camera and say, hey, David. Hey. And yeah, we're sending our love and knowing that all is right and perfect and there was no stroke, so that's a good sign. So we're moving more and more swiftly towards resolution, and we just want him to know that we are thinking of him and miss him and hurry back. So that leaves... David's not here. Lane, my ministerial assistant, is not here. Tracy is not here. So who would like to do the announcements? That's a little scary. All right. So it's going to be me. So we have this awesome thing called Spiritual Living Institute. You know, it was a vision of us to expand beyond the walls, because our mission is to reawaken all to their spiritual magnificence. Not just you awesome people, but the rest of the awesome people across the globe. And one of the ways to do that was to develop educational courses online. And this month, we are just having a stellar experience, because our very own Lori Palco has been doing an amazing class that's been facilitating and supporting small business owners to establish a different breed of consciousness with regards to their doing that, and her love, money, purpose modality. And the feedback has been phenomenal. The participation has been phenomenal. And so we couldn't be more thrilled with your support of that and all of you who are joining in. And then next month, there's this guy, I think his name is David Ault, and he's going to have a course based upon my book. And so if you're interested in that, we're going to call it a global book club, whereby you get to read the chapters. I'll be doing some video accompanying with that. And then at the end of May, we're going to have a live component where everybody who has signed up for that course will get to participate in that. So stay tuned. Continue to visit us at spirituallivinginstitute.org. Next Sunday's the 26th, right? Any of you know the Gloria Gaynor song, I Will Survive? Any of you ever listen to that song and go, my God, the bass track on that song is the bomb? Eddie Watkins, our musician next week, did that on that epic track. And yeah, he is the definitive soul man. And he is going to be our guest musician next Sunday. We are so excited. He is a New Thought person through and through. And we told you a little bit that one of his passions is to support you in finding music within your affirmation. So he's having a workshop next Sunday after the second service, is love offering. Bring an affirmation, bring a mantra, bring something that has meaning to you, and he's going to put it to music. And who knows, you might have a Gloria Gaynor, I Will Survive hit on your hands. So that's happening next Sunday. You're not going to want to miss that. He is our amazing guest musician. And then on Friday, May the 8th, all of the communities in Atlanta are coming together once again for the second installment of the New Thought movie. This one is called A New Thought, A New You. It's the second edition of this great guy named John Miller who went about trying to uncover the roots of New Thought and to create a documentary for that. We showed the first one here to a massive sold-out room. We anticipate even more. That's why we're moving it over to City of Light, or MCC, over by the McDonald's up there. And it's going to be Friday night, May the 8th. Admission is $10. The time is going to be 7 o'clock. So come and join. We're co-hosting this with CSL Midtown, Trinity CSL, and an organization called MetaWorks. So I'd love to see you there. It's got Della Reese in it. It's got Deepak Chopra in it. It's got Bishop Barbara King in it. It's got the same guy, David Ault, in it. He keeps showing up. So come join us for that. Also, too, if you're one of these second service people who might just show up a little late, do you know there's all kinds of activities going on before this service starts? There is an upstairs adult study group. People are raving. Baji is being one of the main facilitators of that. But if you have questions about this particular philosophy, they study 365 Ernest Holmes. And it's a safe place for you to be able to explore, to ask questions. And so that happens during the first service time frame, and then also between services is our meditation 10:50 to 11:10. Any of you ever gone to meditation? What would you say to the people who haven't? Go. You've been instructed. So, all right. If you have a cell phone, I want you to take it out and show it to David Aurelio, who's in Ohio. No. You know, he's got a thing about that. So, but I do want you to reach down and to turn it off or put it on to vibrate for the duration of this morning's service. And then, before anything else, do we have any first-time visitors? If you would be so brave to just raise your hand. Keep your hands raised. And then what we do, thank you. Yeah, keep them up until what you are being given is a piece of plastic. But this piece of plastic is redeemable for a CD of a talk from our services here that you get to take home along with some welcome information. So thank you. Thank you for just taking the time out of your schedule to come and be with us. And then, because things have been a little, as we say in the South, cattywampus this week, with David being out, usually our staff, we get together and we celebrate one another's birthdays because we're very tight, and we usually do that during staff meeting. And we didn't have a staff meeting this past week, and it was Penelope's birthday. So, and it literally brought emotion to her eyes. And so, come here, girl, because she didn't get a cake. She didn't get any of that kind of stuff. I know. So, look at that. Oh my God. Everybody, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Whoops. Happy birthday, dear Penelope. Happy birthday to you. Make a wish, make a wish. Oh, here we go. Whoa! You may enjoy.
Thank you and good night.
And I had to stop at a stoplight really fast, so it's kind of smushed on one side. Just eat around that. All right. And again, the little thing's a little different today. This is today commemorates Earth Day. And so we put out to our teens to make something for Earth Day. So not the teens, the kids, the 7 to 9-year-olds. So come on in. Okay. Look at this. Wow. So I'm thinking this is a tree of life or a God tree. God tree. And so what is it for? Anybody want to tell us? Brooklyn, you want the microphone?
You tell us.
Okay, you tell us. Oh, there we go. What's it for?
It's for everybody.
Aww. Anybody else? Anybody else? What does this God tree represent? Cool stuff? Mary Jane, anything? You want to contribute?
She's the one that's in charge.
Cheryl? Look at Cheryl. Cheryl has been coming all these last few weeks to finish the tree up.
This is our God tree. We've been studying about as above, so below, and how we can help God create the things that are here below. And we talked about things that are below us. And so each one got a chance to build their own God branch for the
Beautiful.
God tree.
Thank you, Cheryl. All right. Thank you, guys. Okay. So you get to be the Pied Piper and skip with the tree out. All right, guys. Follow the tree. There you go. I don't know, I'm having a psychic hit. Somebody in here has a white Lexus, and that white Lexus has their lights on. Yeah, that's all it says. White Lexus, lights on, GL99G5.
Bingo.
Go, Christy. All right. Stand after all of that fal-de-rah. With your programs, on the inside is our declaration of principle. I want to invite you to I know many of you know this by heart, but I want you to look at the words this morning. I want you to reconnect with these words as if you're seeing them for the first time, and let's infuse it with great enthusiasm and meaning together. I believe in one God, one absolute power and first cause to all things. I believe that this power is perfect love, and it creates out of a desire to express love. I believe that all thought is creative, and how I choose to think creates my personal experience. I believe in the unity of all life and the immortality of the individual soul forever unfolding. I believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of God to all. Remain standing. Our song this month is on the inside flyer.
Welcome to love. Welcome to peace. Welcome to love. Welcome to peace. Welcome to our community. Be who you are. Let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. Welcome to love. Welcome to peace. Welcome to our community. Be who you are.
Turn to those around you and say welcome and good morning. Wow. So if you are visiting, hope you got a date out of that. So we're quite a fun crowd. So I want you to take all of this incredible energy and now draw it in. Draw all this incredible energy in. And as you own that for yourself, I invite you to get comfortable in your chair. Perhaps get situated, take everything off of your lap as we prepare for our grounding, our prayerful grounding, which we call spiritual mind treatment or affirmative prayer, which today is going to be led by our very own Nola Jones-Perry.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you, Doc. Good morning. Oh, I might, but I see your light around you right now and your beautiful sight. Thanks for being here. This is a wonderful community, and I look forward to expressing what I know as the truth and having you share it with me. I'll be saying it in the first person. So as you take a nice deep breath and get real comfortable because you're in the company of love. As an expression of God, that one infinite intelligence, that one presence, that one power, that magnificent creative energy, that universal spirit of love. Oh, how else can we feel but being loved? So together we know today we can use our thoughts and our words and our love to lift our consciousness on this spiritual path. We know we are here and we are open to transformation. Our mission truly is to live a passionate, loving, healthy, wholesome life. To be engaged in this awareness that we are God expressing, and to take every opportunity to get to do this, to be love expressed. Today we give thanks that we can choose our thoughts so that the product is a life filled with love. The product is a life and an experience filled with abundance. The product is a life, a wholesome life, a life worth sharing with those around us. I am the love that God is. I am the peace that God is. And I let this resonate in, through, and as me. I embody this truth. I align myself with this truth. I live from this consciousness so that every experience shows that I'm aware of life as an expression of God now and always. As I embrace this opportunity to let the truth flow through me, I can say yes to life. I can say yes to perfect health. It is mine. I can say yes to that abundance that flows, that inexhaustible supply of good and love and peace that is God. That powerful spirit within me guides, protects, embraces that truth and allows me to live with a vibrant expression of my God self, today and always. I release all that does not support this truth, and instead I let faith and I let love and I let the success of my creative self be the points from which I live. I let love reign. I let rain flow. I let you know that we are a community of love and peace and joy. And together, let's say, and so it is.
With every prayer, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me. With every prayer, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me. As I open and allow, I know right here and now, I create a world where wonders never cease. With every prayer, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me.
Sometimes at night, when I am afraid, I cover my eyes, I cover my shame. So here in the dark, broken apart, come with your light and fill up my heart. Oh, great light of the world, fill up my soul. 'Cause I'm half a man here, so come make me whole. Of this world and turn us around, folding us up and backing us down. So here in the dark, I'm not alone. So come with your strength
so beautiful. Thank you, Greg.
Thank you so much, Greg. Nothing like a beautiful tenor voice. I don't know how you do it in the morning, but what a masterful job. Thank you so, so much. So, Earth Day, in honor of Earth Day, what a fitting title for today's talk, Uprooting the Undesirable. As I was thinking about that, I was also thinking about how you and I used to define this word undesirable, and how we used to think about all those things that were undesirable. And maybe you were like me, but there was a point in our life where we felt a little bit helpless about all of that, a little bit overwhelmed about all of that, as if the undesirability of circumstance and life and relationships and the things that we went through up until now were something beyond our control. As if we looked at those from a place of exasperation and hopelessness. But the beautiful part is that if we stick with it long enough, if we walk this, what I like to call the conscious path or the spiritual path long enough, something starts to stick. And you start to hear a little bit from that place of willingness inside, and you go, okay, so that which is undesirable isn't actually out there. And the more energy that I expend trying to fix that out there, the more exhausted I become. But rather, the undesirable has its origin, has its roots, the uprooting, in some idea in my mind. Something that I adopted as a truth. Something that even I was unconscious about, but I accepted. I accepted a limitation about myself. I accepted something that was incongruent or inconsistent with my true, authentic spiritual nature. And so we have this epiphany, if you will, and we start to think, okay, maybe I'm not so tied in or locked into this definition or this label, but there is more for me. There is more for me to uncover. And hopefully that becomes the experience of each and every one of us, that we look at the things that we have labeled as impossible. Impossible. Any of you ever been there? That's impossible. And then maybe if you stick with it long enough and you do the work, you can actually be amused at the things that we thought were impossible, and now we see them as a standard mode of our current life. And thus is the perpetual growth of being a change agent, of walking down the conscious path, of being willing to take responsibility and realizing that anything undesirable I'm responsible for by changing the thought. Simple as that. Thank you so much. See you later. Bye-bye. Oh, that cupcake's going to be distracting. All right. So there's this story. There's this story in the Torah, in the Old Testament, in the book of Exodus. I'm sure you're familiar with the fact that the Israelites were oppressed. They were a slave people to the Pharaoh in Egypt. And one of the things that were required of them by an edict from the Pharaoh was that they had to make bricks. Like the day-to-day gathering and making the bricks for building the things for the Egyptian empire. And in this interim of slavery, Moses, who was the spokesperson, the inspiration for the Israelites, has this download, has this epiphany from what he called God. And the word in that download, in that epiphany, was this: let my people go. Let my people go. So he went to the Pharaoh. He called forth a meeting with the Pharaoh to give this announcement to him. And he told him the interpretation of this inspiration that came from God to let the Israelites go. And you would think if he said, hey, this is from, the big guy, that Pharaoh would have paid attention, would have listened, but he didn't. Any of you ever do that? You ever get a download, somebody wants to give you some information, and you're not necessarily happy with that information? What did you say, first service, Penelope? Kill the messenger? Yeah, so... it's like information comes to you and at your core it's right. But it threatens every single thing that you have built your life around. And when that happens, then what do we have a tendency to do? Resist. to actually become defensive. And so Pharaoh got very defensive. How dare this guy Moses come and give him an order to set these people free? And so what he did with the activity of making bricks, he said, I'm going to make it harder for you. Now you have to make more bricks. But what is the key ingredient of the brick making, which is straw? You are no longer allowed to use straw in the making of the brick, which is the solidifying factor within the mud and the clay. And to add even worse injury to it, he said, go and collect the straw and then just sit it there in front of you and stare at it, but you're not allowed to use it. And the productivity of your brick making has to escalate. So you can imagine the oppression and the wave of all of that, and what that had amongst the Israelite people, and how that affected Moses. And you start to realize that all of these stories are our story. That each component of the story is a truth that exists within us. The miracle of the awakening among the people is the words of the Jehovah, go therefore now. So they do this activity, and there is this awakening from Moses, and he says, even though this is what Pharaoh has said, this is what I get. Go therefore now and work, for there shall no straw be given you, yet shall ye deliver the number of bricks. So basically saying, even though he said you can't use straw, go ahead, start making bricks anyway, and you will discover that you can make them without the straw. So the message being, the thing that you think is impossible is only impossible if you think it's impossible. That everything has a far-reaching sense of solution. But you and I then must be willing to go and to meet that solution. You and I must be willing to march away from the terminology of impossibility or to uproot the impossibility within our lives. So the Israelites were enslaved by this Pharaoh. They were assigned to this life of harsh labor, this laborious task, this day in and day out. Moses has this revelation. He goes, the Pharaoh gets upset. He puts and makes the labor even worse. And so the symbology around all of that is that life in Egypt under foreign oppression is the symbol of humankind under the harsh taskmaster of destructive thinking. See, in our humankind, in this human experience, we have a Pharaoh, but the Pharaoh is not out there. The Pharaoh is where? Inside our mind. And the Pharaoh inside of our mind is getting defensive. The Pharaoh inside of our mind is pushing and resisting all of this information that wants to come and self-regulate things in divine order. So the deliverance under Moses is the freedom that we gain from that taskmaster. The destructive thinking is ideas like pride, fear, resentment, ill will. And so this whole idea of freeing ourselves from mind is the same today as it was thousands of years ago. Your doubts and your fears keep you in bondage. Even doubts and fears that you didn't realize were actually living in there. There are the things that have intertwined themselves with the idea that it's too late for you. It's too late for you. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. What did he just say? I just wanted to see if you're listening, right? So, where within you have you settled for that? Where within you have you accepted certain parameters about your worth, your age, your productivity, what's possible for you? Where is all of that shrouded under this idea that this is as good as it gets? This thing of ageism isn't so much an edict or an effect out there as much as it is within our own mind. We're our worst enemy with regards to ageism. We're our worst enemy with regards to sexism. We're our worst enemy with regards to bigotry and strife. Because we hold up a mirror of that to the world, and the world reflects back what it is that we are concentrated on. And our job, our ceaseless work is about understanding that we are the ones who uproot the undesirable. And so we face a situation which seems hopeless. And what do you and I have the opportunity to do with that? To begin to make bricks without straw. To begin to craft these ideas. See, the reasoning mind, or another word is the intellect, takes the throne of Pharaoh in your consciousness and it says, it can't be done. It can't be done. It can't be done. And so as we sit with that and think about that and do our personal inquiry, I'm reminded of the amazing, wonderful writings of a woman by the name of Florence Scovel Shinn. And she was very, very popular around the turn of the 20th century. She lived in New York City. She was a teacher of mental principles. And she had many, many clients who would come. And she would hear their stories, and she would listen to them, and she would give them affirmations. And when they would talk about things that were impossible in their life, she had this one affirmation that she would give to them. And she would say, "The unexpected happens. My seemingly impossible good now comes to pass." The unexpected happens. My seemingly impossible good now comes to pass. The unexpected happens. You see, there's this thing about living in expectancy. The expectancy that the law is going to bring to fruition our cooperation of it. It is done unto us as we believe. There's the law. So as we cooperate with the law, as we look at that, then we can live in an expectancy of the unexpected. Live in an expectancy of the unexpected, meaning I've given up the ways and the means of how this impossible thing is going to come to fruition. It's not my job to know how. My only job is to remain in the expectancy and to be sweetly surprised by the way this good comes out, to turn these bricks, to make these bricks without straw, and to bring them into fruition. It's not my business, actually, how the infinite nature of the universe wants to do this. It's my business only to be in cooperation with it and not resist it. The unexpected happens. My seemingly impossible good now comes to pass. So I'm going to say parts of these and I want you to repeat it after me. The unexpected happens. The unexpected happens. My seemingly impossible good. My seemingly impossible good. Now comes to pass. Now comes to pass. Again, the unexpected happens. The unexpected happens. My seemingly impossible good. My seemingly impossible good. Now comes to pass. Now comes to pass. How does that feel? How does it feel when you set the stage, when you invoke that and invite that to become and be a co-creator with you and I? Rather than just sitting around and kvetching, it's my Hebrew word of the day, kvetching about all of the reasons why it can't. Uprooting the undesirable is whose responsibility? Ourselves. Ourselves. So Ernest Holmes, our founder, wrote that the integrity of the universe cannot be questioned or doubted. Woo. The integrity of the universe cannot be questioned or doubted. Do you realize that when we label something impossible, we're doubting the integrity of the universe? Yes. You see, the law that exemplified itself through the self-contemplation of spirit. I want you to hear that. The self-contemplation of spirit is what you are. Meaning that spirit so loved itself that it said, I want more of me. And thus you and I. We become a part or the manifestation of the self-contemplation of spirit. And what is true for spirit is true for who? You. All of the ability, all of the same law that created worlds, the integrity around the universe, is what is possessed and inside each and every one of us, waiting in expectancy for you and I to use it. To begin to banish all of the things, all of the limitations, all of the silliness that we have labeled impossible, and to begin to make bricks without straw in our lives. To begin to uproot all that is undesirable. So the integrity of the universe cannot be questioned or doubted. that spirit must be and is perfect. Therefore, that which is back of everything must be good. It must be good. Our job is to see the good, to begin to excavate and to clear away anything that obstructs and says it or calls it differently. Solution is made visible only through what he's termed soul culture. Soul culture, the culture of the soul. And by careful analysis, I love that term, soul culture. Because the culture of the soul, you as a soul, is pure essence, is pure being, is pure spirit. It's this eternality. It knows nothing of limitation. How many of you are in great compatibility with your soul culture? How many of you are letting your humanity be influenced by your soul culture? How many of you are doing the work, the spiritual work every single day to invite in more of that, more of our soul culture? Ernest Holmes said you might want to do this then. Begin by asking, what is my viewpoint of life? What is my viewpoint of life? If someone were to come to you and ask you that question, what would you begin to say? Would you say, well, at my age, no one really notices me. I always get, I'm always the one doing everything for everybody else, and nobody doing anything for me. Wah, wah. Or, I had my shot and I screwed it up. Or, addiction rules me. Or I am unlucky in love and all the good ones are taken. Or, the way the world has unfolded, what my skills and what I can bring to the table just aren't up to speed anymore. What is your viewpoint of life? Is it, how are you doing today? You know what? Better and better every single day. I live in the expectancy. I live in that beautiful expectancy of the mystery. I'm excited to continue to uncover how that which could create worlds, the genius of that is the genius inside of me. And I so want to turn this day over to the genius inside of me. That's how I'm doing. What is our viewpoint of life? What do I feel my relationship with the great whole to be? Do I feel fragmented? Do I feel just a part? Or do I understand and know that I already come fully equipped? That I am a vessel of permission by which I can ask and access that which is God. He says, what do I believe the great cause back of all things to be? See, the integrity of the universe tells us that the cause behind everything is divine order. How many of us talk about how there is an absence of divine order in our world? And where can we begin to language that and say, I don't necessarily see it right now, but there is order there, and I'm choosing to open myself up to know that the good that wants to come from this. Then and only then are we in tandem with the integrity of the universe. Then and only then are we eligible to begin to uproot the undesirable. And by uproot, I mean in getting the root of that old idea out rather than just mowing it over with effort, which then only breeds it again and has it grow back even stronger. From whence does my discouragement and my fear and my doubt and my calamity come from? Ernest Holmes asked. They cannot proceed from the eternal source, that perfect fount of the live, beautiful, inexhaustible one. Therefore, they must come from my own consciousness. From my own consciousness. So the uprooting of anything that is undesirable is to take place within my own mind, not in the garden of someone else's roles and responsibilities. My own responsibility. So bricks without straw. Bricks without straw becomes a powerful metaphor of how you and I live in limitless opportunity. And that everything, every edict that is human sent, which has confinement to it, has a solution that moves it into the soul part, the ethereal part, the spiritual part, if we but do the work. Florence Scovel-Shinn was telling about how at the turn of the in the 1900s, she lived in New York City, that for a time there was this trend when she would go walking down Park Avenue that on every corner there was a man selling apples. They would sell apples out of these little makeshift stands. And she said she was walking down Park Avenue one day and she came upon this one man going, apples, apples, get your apples right here. And she went up to him and she goes, you know, you're not going to sell a lot of apples with that kind of a face, with that kind of frown, with that kind of exasperation on your face. You know, why bother? And he said to her, that man over there took my corner. You see, what they would do is they would get up very, very early to go and stake out the prime corners. And they would have their supply of apples and then they would go. And this man obviously was upset because that prime corner over there had already been taken. And he said, that man took my corner. And she went, she said, the corner doesn't matter. The corner has nothing to do with it. What has everything to do with it is the way in which you stand here, the look upon your face. What do you want? Do you want to sell more apples? He said, yeah. Then she said, change your face. Change your face. Change your attitude. The corner has nothing to do with it. And she wrote in there that he responded, okay, lady. So the next day, she's walking down Park Avenue, and there he is in the same spot that she saw him the day before with this big grin on his face, going, apples! And everybody was lining up to buy the apple. And I have to laugh at that because you and I do that. We go, they took my corner. They took my job. They took my boyfriend, my girlfriend. They took my ex-husband, my ex-wife. Well, thank them for that. But you know, somebody took something from me. Or the world took something from me. Or my past religion took something from me. Or my dynamic took something. No, nothing took anything from anybody. Oh my God, did you just hear that? Because I just heard that. Wow. See, the world is incapable of taking anything away from any individual unless we give it permission to. So uprooting the undesirable is uprooting that sense of helplessness, is uprooting that sense of impoverishment, is uprooting that sense of oppression that is self-made. And so how do we begin the task then of creating a new consciousness, a new idea? How do we open ourselves up to that? I've become fascinated lately in using rune ideology and Germanic traditions and looking at some of the Germanic words around the symbologies of these particular things. And I was working with a teacher this week, and there was this one particular rune, and as I looked it up, it said, if you have been operating in the dark, any of you ever been operating in the dark, right? If you've been operating in the dark, there is now enough light to see that the patient on the operating table is yourself. I loved that. You know, operating in the dark equates this idea of living life from this particular sense of handicap. And then when the light starts to come in, you see that the handicap is self-imposed, that I've climbed upon the table of my handicapped, limited nature, and there I sit, making it my own. Our founder, Ernest Holmes, said, we seek fragments. We seek fragments when the whole is at hand. We accept partial bits. We accept fragments when that which is the whole, that which is the seeming impossible, is where? At hand. It is here. It is now. So it doesn't matter how many times we say our solution already exists. It's constant for us to be reminded of that, correct? To wake up each day with this pure intent, a day of pure intent, where I allow the impossibilities that I have held on to become possibilities. And that's just not a little catchphrase, it's not a trite idea. It's actually a demandment of your soul upon your human self. It's the thing that will not escape you and I. It's the incessant whisper inside of our mind that says, you are bigger than this. You are more than this. It is time for you to own this. And so I go back. The unexpected happens. The unexpected happens. My seemingly impossible good. My seemingly impossible good. Now comes to pass. Now comes to pass. The unexpected happens. Yeah. My seemingly impossible good. My seemingly impossible good. Oh, wrap an idea around that one. My seemingly impossible good. What is that for you? What is that for you? Your seemingly impossible good, the thing that you have given up on. Say it, my seemingly impossible good. Now. 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 How now, brown cow, right? Now comes to pass. Do you get it? Do you get that? Yes. Claim your corner. Claim your corner. Start making your bricks. You don't need the straw. You don't need to know how. Start with a fresh perspective and know that by doing so, you are living in integrity with your life. And so it is. Thank you. Wow, thank you so much. Daniel, you had a manifestation. Come up here. Be the man who smiles with his apples. Come on up.
Oh boy, wow. I really got called on the spot, didn't I? I've been coming here since August, and I'll tell you all, it just keeps getting better and better. And you know how I know that? I know that because I know it starts with me. And when I just claim all that God has got for me in my life and says, here, baby, it's all yours. You got to want it. And we all got to want it. So abundance is just flowing right and left. So join me in the affirmation for grateful giving. And read with me. I live in a universe of abundance. As I freely and joyfully give, I join in the divine flow, and all that I share with life returns to me multiplied abundantly, and so it is.
Thank you so much. Please welcome back once again our vocalist. And this time we're going to feature Sayuda Fuller on the solo. Yeah. Please welcome Greg Pavlik. It's been a great day already. Fuji and Emra.
Good morning, everyone. It's great to be back singing a solo. Great to be here with you as my community. So thank you so much.
Hurry up and away, so close but so far away. Everything that you've always dreamed of, close enough. anywhere, how you gonna make it? You know you can if you get the chance. And your face and the door keeps slamming. Now you're feeling more and more frustrated, and you're getting all kind of impatient, waiting. You live and we learn to take one step at a time. There's no need to rush. It's like learning to fly or falling in love. It's gonna happen and it's supposed to happen, that we find the reasons why. One step at a time. Da 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 da. You believe and you doubt. You're confused. You got it all figured out. Everything that you've always wished for could be yours, should be yours, would be yours if they only knew. You wanna show the world, but no one knows your name yet. You wonder when and where, how you gonna make it. You know you can if you get the chance. And your face in the door keeps slamming. Now you're feeling more and more frustrated, and you're getting all kind of impatient, waiting. We live and we learn to take one step at a time. There's no need to rush. It's like learning to fly or falling in love. It's gonna happen and it's supposed to happen, that we find the reasons why. One step at a time. When you can't wait any longer and there's no end in sight, you need to find strength. It's your faith that makes you stronger. The only way we get there is one step at a time. Da 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 da. One step at a time. There's no need to rush. It's like learning to fly or falling in love. It's gonna happen and it's supposed to happen, that we find the reasons why. One step at a time. No need to rush. Falling in love. It's gonna happen and it's supposed to happen, that we find the reasons why. One step at a time.
Sayuda Fuller. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Sayuda.
Thank you. Remain standing. Thank you, Sayuda. Thank you, Greg, and our team. I'm going to invite all of our practitioners to come forward. These are the people who are here to assist you in an affirmative prayer to remind you of the possibility to be able to override any idea of limitation that you've accepted for yourself. Give yourself the gift of letting them, just for a couple of minutes, do that powerful prayer for you as we sing our closing song together.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. We love you so much. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Thank you.